Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright.
We here tonight to make some history.
Yes, sir.
LA's in the building.
Said it.
Latinos stand up. Just Incredibles freestyle series. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop some beats.
Yeah.
And y'all just go crazy.
Oh, it's time to get busy?
Just like that, man.
Time to get busy, man. Let's get busy then.
You know what we came to do, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Long time coming. It's Blanco. I tried talking to God again, but he kicked me to the curb. I prayed and said that drugs, money, guns, what I preferred. I'm aware that isn't righteous and I get what I deserve. Can't put a price on freedom, but we'll risk it on a bird. My young yo behind the wall said he's with me in spirit. He been shackled up and still ain't get one family visit. Could you imagine that feeling? All alone and feel forgotten by yourself with just your thoughts left for dead and slowly rotten. Shit is wicked.
I feel like the Holy Spirit forgot me.
Yeah.
Son of God, but I think Satan chose to adopt me.
Damn.
Used to be a good kid, then started selling oxy. I'm iced out, so I keep long sticks like hockey. Don't call me a legend, guapo more like a myth.
Let's
Illegal aliens, they wonder if we even exist. They said that LA fell off, man, you stupid as shit. It's game 7 at the finals, coming home with the chip.
Come on.
And it smells like a rotten corpse every time I leave a booth. With a stick I play ball like I'm Baby Ruth. They wish I stop and fall off like a baby tooth. Underdog against the odds, I'm walking living proof. Caught that boy lacking, waiting on his Uber lift. Chopper made him swag surf, turn him into Taylor Swift. My sole purpose in life is stunning, make him piss. Paperwork a Blanco telling that shit don't exist.
Let's go.
Here come the police, they be like, who the fuck is that? Bitches, the Yodis, raised by veteranos that only listen to oldies. Where if you get a teardrop tat, it's like a trophy.
Hey.
There's a war against a masculine male. This whole country turned to pussy, I could tell by the smell. Yodis fucking up the city, raw dog, cause sex sells.
Yeah.
I could tell that you never seen bricks or fish scale.
All the feds found was residue all over the scale. All the work was gone, so didn't get attempting to sell. These the results of someone sick and tired of taking the L. There's gotta be a heaven, I was going through hell.
Yo, if this is hell, then tell me where the fuck the devil at. About to run inside his crib and rob him with a Yodi mask.
Yes.
I act like a piece of shit and blame it on my Zodiac. I'm liable to slap you when I'm off of too much cognac.
Me with all of the foolery, there ain't no getting through to me. Fuck what my account said, I'm blowing this on jewelry. They tell me what's the price for a rapper chain. A GoFundMe in a family that's left in pain. Enjoying fruits of your labor breeds envy behavior. One of us going to jail, the other's meeting his maker. Try to take mine and I'ma chop the thumbs off a purse snatcher. Then I'ma snatch your bitch cause she a thirst trapper. Look, it's kinda hard for me to explain, so I'ma try to dumb it down, you little shit stain. Law number 1, get rid of hate in your veins. Number 2, don't you ever have no smut on your name. And after that, make sure you put the work in with no shortcuts. Take every opportunity before the door shuts. I'm grateful that the plug still supports us. I'm moving so much weight, I need like 4 trucks.
I swear to God, the next motherfucker to get close,
What?
I'ma tie his hands together and throw him off a boat. I ran out of patience, I ran out of hope. About to run inside the Vatican and pistol whip the Pope. I swear to God, I don't fuck with none of you guys. You the type to give me flowers on the day that I die. Fuck that. Tell me who the best rapper alive. Got a bullet with his name engraved right on the side. I swear to God, stop playing with me. If you was there when I was starving, you'll be there when I eat. Me and my brother used to sleep on the floor, no sheets. We shared pants, shared shoes, we shared beef. I swear to God, amen. You are your brother's keeper. Blood run thicker than water, the shit's deeper. God has chosen me, that's no secret. But I had to turn them down, I'm not Jesus, God. I'm just a regular guy, but when you're chosen, man, it's just not up to you to decide. It was written, the only reason why I'm alive is to lead the lost souls. I'm the Lord of the flies, I swear to God. I'm done with all that humble shit. When you say my name, say the GOAT right in front of it. This shit is my life, they're like, I'm just having fun with it. I'm not having fun, I grind so hard it feel like punishment. Man, so don't hit me on no fun shit. So obsessed with making it that I could barely function. Self-destructive, too much alcohol consumption. My wife say that she don't recognize her husband. Damn, just imagine how she feel. Patching up the wounds that are impossible to heal. She know that when I make it, I'ma pay for every bill. But life is moving fast, I got no time for standing still. On God,
On God.
man.
On God.
What we talking about, man? It's the motherfucking Yodis, man.
Yes, sir.
Legendary shit, man.
Every time. I appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Hello. Oh, it's working. Shit, it is working. All right, sounds good. Boom, bam, bam, boom. Bam, bam, boom. All right, family. What up? Good to have you here, brother. I think it's only you so far, so it's all good. So anyhow, good to have you here, man. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you that watch this from afar. I got something good to show you guys today. You know, it seems like a lot of us get distracted with the little bullshit talks that we are dealing with at Raza. You know, I keep kind of listening into some other YouTube channels, and there's like some dilemma problem going on. So that, you know, apparently now the gangster channels, now they're arguing with some of these FBAs, you know what I'm saying? Like these reparationists, I call them that. Unfortunately, it's not the same genre, you know? So some of these people can kind of get away with saying some shit. And, you know, a lot of our gente don't realize yet that what you've been taught in school isn't correct. You know, we were told that it was just the British or Spaniards that came. Automatically, you labeled them as white people. And then they enslaved everybody else. That's not true. So we need to correct that, first and foremost. This is all part of a system. This whole government is a system. You know, just like Nimrod's system, it's a government, it's a system. Finally, the collateralized damaged people, you know, like that I've been saying, y'all are just collateral damage. The real people that they made sure to at least try to destroy was the indigenous of this land. All of you that came with these people, y'all are just collateral damage, and you're seeing that they don't care about you. Do you understand that? Because you've been doing this since you were in Europe. Visigoths, the Franks. If we weren't here, you would be fighting with yourselves. That's why you have the red and the blue. Anyhow, I thought this would be a perfect scripture to start with. Why not even remind you of it? Jeremiah 51:7 says, Babylon had a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine. So Babylon, right? Everybody follows Babylon. Whatever Babylon does, everybody does. And the nations have drunken off her wine, right? Her so-called wisdom, teachings of science and theology and atheism, you know what I'm saying? Right? This is the melting pot, so to speak. Therefore, the nations are mad. And we see that right now. I'll show you how so many examples are. That's why the class is called the Don-ROE doctrine. Do you know what I'm saying? The Don-ROE doctrine. Not the Monroe doctrine, the Don-ROE doctrine. Because the same hatred that evolved, that manifested the manifest destiny, the sphere of influence, the Monroe doctrine is the same manifested destiny of hate towards our people who were oppressed under these so-called philosophies of the way it should be. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Now, you guys understand why they're attacking Venezuela. There's piracy going on right now in the oceans. And it's basically the sons of and daughters of Esau being who they are. They're destroyed now because guess what? There's no way to, they're not hiding it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this is a blunt a regime, so to speak, government regime or whatever they call them, white nationalist Republicans. I don't know what they are. You know what I mean? They don't care. Like, you're brown, you're riding a boat, I'm gonna shoot you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is destruction in the mind now. Like, forget rules, so to speak. How for her that balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed, right? Because like something's going on. Like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Other countries are looking at, the Statue of Liberty, so to speak, what it represented. And they're like, how in the, what are you guys crazy? You're just shooting boats in the middle of the ocean because you think they're carrying drugs? The same drugs that you consume. Like, nobody forces you people to consume these things. And you're claiming that these boats are carrying drugs and you're blasting them in the middle of the ocean. That's never, not on national TV for us to see. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Now, a lot of this deportation, I remember a brother told me one time, I think it might have been already revealed, that maybe these deportations are technically like a manifestation of Jeremiah, so to speak. I don't know if you said Jeremiah, by the way, bro, but you had said something like that, I think, right? So it's literally saying here, let us go, everyone, into his own country. And you see some people are basically leaving. Now, aside from the obvious, this book here is Occupied America. I read it to you as before. On page 26 and 27, you have a background of let me just read it real quick. Anglo-Mexican hostility did not enter after 1836. Now, remember, keep in mind that the map of the North Americas was half of Mexico and half of the Anglo and Afro, you know what I mean? Like those people. And so-called self-proclaimed Jews, because they claim that they're neither war, but they are both self-proclaimed. Anglo-American immigration into the Republic of Texas reached 100,000 by 1840s. You understand? Oh, I'm sorry. See, I skipped that whole thing. Sorry. The issue of the prisoners of war continued. Anglo-Texan kept Mexican soldiers in cages. Do you understand that? Anglo-Texans kept Mexican soldiers in cages. Now, I want you also to remind yourselves, please, by all means, do not forget. And let me just say this. The people that were in Texas weren't always white looking, okay? Because it's historically written that the majority of the politicians in Texas, when they first created this, government branch in Texas, the majority were Negroes, for real. We're not going to overlook any detail in the history because then it all of a sudden gets quote unquote whitewashed. Gotcha, bitch. For lack of better words or whatever. Anyways, and it says here, the boundaries. Remember, keep in mind though that they didn't respect the law. Mexican soldiers in cages, Anglo-Texans. So they weren't part of the North American states yet, and they were seceding from what belonged to Mexico, which everybody, if you look historically, was a total invasion of Mexico. You guys both, not just white people, white and black people invaded Texas. Those are fucking facts. And I am sick and tired of only labeling one particular type of people as if they were the only enemy. Now, I'll tell you this for a fact. By us only labeling them too as if they were the only invaders gives them fucking credit for shit they did not do on their own, which at the same time kills two birds with one stone, right? We remind them of, hey, we know you. We know what you did. You're not some glorified race. White people needed black man and black woman's hand to take over those states as North America became everything after 13 colonies. You guys understand that? Then it says here, let's see, the boundaries question also remain unanswered, with all the territory between the Rio Grande and the Nueces River in dispute. Anglo-American immigration, Anglo-American illegal immigrants. No, illegal aliens. Let me just rephrase that. Fuck you guys. Right? Into the Republic of Texas increased. So as these Anglo illegal aliens invaded Texas, right? And it reached 100,000 illegal aliens of European descent. Polish, German, British, Spaniard, Portuguese, all of that shit. All of these illegal aliens. At that time, they were considered, based on these standards of today, illegal aliens. Okay? To escape violence, Mexicans moved further south. So even though that region was still part of Mexico, you had invaders basically doing what they claim we do to them today. They're saying we are invading them and we're like killing their people and hurting their people. Here we see that our gente is like, yo, listen, I ain't trying to deal with this shit, bro. Let me just live a good life. To escape violence, Mexicans who live in their land moved further south. Why? Because there was Anglo illegal immigrants at that time, prior to 1848, invading the territory, literally stealing everything that they could get. Is it not happening today also in Venezuela? Are they not literally robbing the oils down there? I'm not bullshitting. This is not me talking out of my ass. This is literally happening. History repeats itself. And it's always the buffoons that never see who the fuck they are. All you do is project. You're basically projecting. That's why Red Babylon with the golden cup, marvelous. Everybody admired you. Not no more. Now everybody sees the ugliness in you people. And this is not just coming from one side of the aisle, fam. You got racism coming from so-called white folks, so-called black folks, so-called self-proclaimed Jews. And I'm going to show you how they technically hate y'all more than anything. In the years before annexation to the United States, the Neo-Texans actively warred on the Indians and stepped up their diplomatic front against Mexico. You see these invaders. You see how these invaders, these illegal aliens, it's like us so-called Mexican people, so-called, right? Coming up here to California and saying, fuck you, we're here, now we're taking it back. It's the same shit. You fucking criminals. This is really, I have every single right to call you criminals because this is your root. This is your history. There's absolutely nothing to be proud of. You are fucking thieves. And you want to know why I can say that you're thieves and why you take advantage of other people? It's because the majority of these lands that you took from Texas all the way to California brought you a massive amount of income. And it wasn't just so-called white people. You see, this is why when you look at history for what it is, you can't ignore it. The creation of a dominant class. Here I'm next, moving out forward over here. Before 1848, right, when we're dealing with all this shit here, the Valley of Rio Grande supported many thousands of cattle. Towns such as Laredo, Guerrero, Mier, Camargo, and Reynoso had been founded before 1755. Self-reliant communities raised corn, beans, melons, and vegetables, and also tended sheep and goats. Commerce between the people on the vegetables and also commerce between the people on both sides of the river bound them together. Life for Mexicans in the other sections of Texas, while not exactly the same, closely resembled the life of the Rio Grande people. It was not highly organized, no profiting yielding structure. It was not the highly organized and profit-yielding structure Anglos were accustomed to and considered productive. Compared to the technological standards of the United States, the economy of the valley was underdeveloped. As technology changes took place in the region's economy, class division became more marked within the Mexican community. The upper class more often aligned themselves with the new elite, right? Either to maintain their privilege or to move vertically within the new system. In many cases, rich Mexicans became brokers for the ruling elite, helping control the Mexican masses. You want to know something? You right here, you are more bitches than anybody else. It's like you gave up the booty. You literally gave up the booty. Like you weren't even forced to, like, oh, I want to get my privilege. In Brownsville, men like Francisco Iturria, Jeremiah Galvan, and the Spaniard Jose San Roman amassed fortunes by aligning themselves with Charles Stillman. Charles Stillman arrived in the valley in 1846, established a trade center, a cotton field across the river Matamoros. Within 4 years, trade with Mexico developed the town of Brownsville. This boom drove land prices up and attracted more Anglo-Americans. So by us helping them, they take advantage. and then repackage it and claim it like they were fucking phenomenal and shit. Yo, that's a good point. It's Crusaders, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or just call him a gangster. Shit, for real, bro. Straight up, dude. it's like you live in the hood, homie. And I grew up in the hood. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what they on was like old school fucking, hardcore motherfuckers. Come into your house and be like, give me your keys. Give me your car. Give me everything. And you can't call the cops. What are you gonna do? The same shit. And you see the hatred. Like, if you read this book, you'll find out there's a lot of hatred. By the way, this book was also banned, in case y'all don't know this. I did a class on it, like I think 3 classes before. On page 33, it says, controlling Mexicans. As elsewhere in the Southwest, the railroad played a key role in the economic development of San Antonio after the Civil War. In 1870, San Antonio merchants and business leaders financed a new line between their city and Galveston. By 1885, 2 more lines passed through the city, connecting North Texas and Mexico. Let me go ahead and skip here real quick. And it says here in South Texas, machine politics also became popular after the Civil War. The machine handed out patronage, for example, city jobs, contracts, franchises, public utility, and in the case of poor Mexicans, gave them a primitive form of welfare. The machine won elections by turning out the Mexican vote. In the border towns, the machine also controlled the custom houses. The indiscriminate use of the Texas Rangers bolstered the machine's political hegemony. Characteristically, the poor had few alternatives. In San Antonio, the ricos rarely sided with the masses of Mexicans because, they want to be white. They displayed attitudes and interests based on their class and even emphasized racial differences between themselves and the lower classes, stating that the poor did not belong to the white race. Many old families openly sympathized with the Ku Klux Klan, like Nicky Tricky Butt Plug Fuentes, because a lot of these were not true Mexicas, indigenous. They were Mexicans by name, but typically, let's say, Irish or fucking British or some other shit. The stronghold of the Mexican elites centered in Texas, in San Antonio, where Alejo Ruiz, Vicente Martinez, John Barrera, Rafael Ituriz, and Jose Antonio Navarro allied themselves with the ultra-conservative elements. After the Civil War, they even campaigned to be on the behalf of the Northern Democrats, which at the same time they were considered basically like Republicans, like they were totally fucking racist, advocating the supremacy of the white race. Hence my point in regards to why I call it the Don-ROE doctrine, which, it's like the Monroe. It's the same mindset. They seem oblivious to the persecution of their fellow Mexicans and actively supported the Anglo ruling class by brokering the Mexican vote. You see that? So it's kind of like, a lot of you dumbasses voted for Trump. Hey, dumb Mexicans. Did that vote help you then? Gotcha, bitch. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Nah. It didn't help you then. That vote didn't help you then. You're still a Mexican. You know what I'm saying? It ain't helping you now. Now all of a sudden, like 75% of Latinos, Hispanics are against Trump. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you guys, bro. Y'all stupid. Hey, American Cholo, how's it going over there? I hope they're gonna deport you pretty soon. That would be so funny, man. If they make an example out of you. The fucking nerve of you, man. Seriously, you have no knowledge of history. Zero whatsoever. They're spitting in your face. They've been doing this shit to our people since the beginning of time. And as a matter of fact, they've been calling us invaders and shit when they literally were the ones that fucking initiated that shit. But nah. What do I know, right? What do I know? Let me show you this real quick. This is I'm gonna show you that video in a little bit, but this is an idea of like who, where, and what, who's located. So we have on the top the British, because that's what you guys are. the American name is just a label. And you call yourselves that because you probably are not just British. You're like a bunch of other shit here. So you're a mutt, basically. Thanks, Mama. Thanks. So basically, you're a mutt. You know what I'm saying? Now, but for the sake of, educating you or educating you, let's punctuate your locations. You see all the blues? Right. That's why most of these states, you see them as going Republicans. They're usually reds. Okay? Now you get the picture. They're usually reds. And Germans are up there too. You have Irish, predominantly in this location. You got the Spanish, supposedly here. You got Italians, very centralized. The French, darker blue, hardly, like here, Louisiana. You got Norwegians, Dutch, Portuguese, Ukrainians, Finnish, right? So we see that. Or we can look at it like this. The most common self-identified ancestry of the United States. Here on the lower west coast, that's basically where we're located, or what they would consider Mexicans. And as you can see, a lot of these lands that were invaded by illegals, right, have a lot of value. Okay? Now you get a picture of that. Now here's more of like how it's broken down. Largest Latin American ancestry. Mexicans predominantly the biggest. U.S. only, Mexicans as well. Like there's more of us. And this is why they're all scared and shit. Their stupid replacement theory, which contradicts their whole Darwinism. I mean, it's like you came in with your stupid science saying, oh, Darwinism, they picked the survival of the fittest. Darwinism basically says that it's the strongest gene pool that will survive the next evolutionary, process or steps. Well, guess what? You motherfuckers are dying. So Darwinism is saying, nah, you're a recessive gene. I don't need you here in this earth anymore. That's, I mean, if we're gonna take your science, this is a map which I really like a lot. It's Indian lands of federally recognized of the United States. Okay, so it's a really nice map. Brothers, if you guys want me to send you this link, let me know. Okay. But anyways, so now, as you can see, there's a lot of land here. Right? A lot of invasion going on, right? A lot of invasion. Okay. We read earlier regarding Jeremiah. It says, Jeremiah 51:7 says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine, therefore the nations are mad. However, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Right? Fallen and destroyed. Let's check this out.
Anyone else notice how Americans are more upset over the one mass shooting in Australia than the 389 mass shootings so far this year in America? Anyone else notice how Americans are more upset over the one mass shooting in Australia than the 389 mass shootings so far this year in America?
Occupied America, I think it's 3rd edition. No, 7th edition. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, it's Occupied America, 3rd edition. My bad. 3rd edition. So apparently this book got banned, bro. So I think you can find it still, but you can't get it on a PDF completely. They don't have the access to that. Archive.org does not have it anymore. But you can probably purchase it. Okay, so this man is like, yo, listen, 389 shootings this year. Mass shootings, right? Okay. So let's consider. Who is the real problem? Who is the real problem? It says here, mass shooters by race. Black and white males excluding gang violence, have the highest rates of mass shootings among demographic groups, with 0.09 incidents per 100,000 people. So, white Americans committed 53% of the 195 mass shootings between 1966 and 1924. Black Americans committed 21% of all targeted mass public shootings between 1966 and 1924. Okay? 98% are usually male. Here we are here. So it's basically saying, take it to the back. Remember that location that I showed you? Remember the location where I showed you why it was important to show you that map? So this is the like mass shootings by locations. Do you find this ironic? Anyways, it says here that steadily, man, and you guys are just fucking murderers. Workplace, weekends, weapons. Man, perpetrators, solo males, for the most part. You lose your minds at around 35 years of age. The majority of the mass shooters are between 20 to 29. Mass shooters are racially, ethnically diverse through a majority of white people. So once again, half of the mass shootings are done by the sons and daughters of Esau.
That's gotta hurt. That's right.
Sorry about that one. Somebody explain this to me. Who is the savage here? Who is the savage? I'm just asking. I'm asking. Don't mind me, right? What do I know? Oh, sorry. These are other locations. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Now, check this out. This is funny to me. This is so funny to me, dude. It's like, it's just, I laugh at you guys, man, all the time. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. It's to me, let's put it this way. When it comes to daily talk, it's just amazing. You guys get, I don't know, the hypocrisy with you people is just fucking amazing. So we're gonna watch something real quick. Now I'm gonna share this video with y'all because at this time,
I don't know what you're talking.
At this time, okay, when this person here was speaking at this Amfest, okay, so this Amfest recently happened. And they didn't let people or so-called black people in or people of color in. Okay, they were, seriously, you can look it up. This was before. Must have been like 3-4 years ago, maybe. Okay, this was what she was working for these so-called self-proclaimed Jews when they were paying her handsomely. You know what I'm saying? She was pushing their paper. She was pushing their propaganda that was going into her bank account, that then she would take and spend it and lived well, ate well, felt well. With her so-called Christian belief, she still dealt with Talmudic practitioners, so-called Talmudic Jews. She knew all about them at this time. She's worked with them under Ben Shapiro, worked with him for a long time under him. Okay. And at those times, this is what she said about us.
I don't know what you're talking about with two-spirit people. Is this like a Native American tribe? like high smoking, because when I think of Native American tribes talking about their spirits, I know that they used to smoke a lot, they used to do drugs, they also were cannibals who used to eat people, so I don't know if we should be taking our cues from cannibals. I don't know what you're talking about with two-spirit people. Is this like a Native American tribe, like high smoking? Because when I think of Native American tribes talking about their spirits, I know that they used to smoke a lot, they used to do drugs, they also were cannibals who used to eat people, so I don't know if we should be taking our cues from cannibals.
But I guess you can get away with that? So what if you had a so-called Hispanic? It says, what do you mean, like black people? Like, what do you mean? No. When they showed up, they were cannibals. They were eating themselves. Why in the world would we take any advice from them? And you want to know something? As bad as that sounds, it could be justified.
First, he stabbed his victim. "You are Muslim, Muslim, Muslim," he said. I poured petrol over him. I burned him. I ate his leg, right down to the white bone. The victim was just passing through on a bus. Most Christians are horrified, but resigned.
See inside, come here.
So the coffin and everything is there, but they just took the bones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taking all the bones.
They're taking the bones.
Yeah.
How many graves destroyed, you said?
It's more than thousands.
More than 1,000 graves.
Yeah, 2,000.
We take advice from black people? I mean, they're cannibals and they're smoking to get high. See, we take that logic, right? And then turn it around and what then? Oh, people are offended now, huh? Y'all offended now. Oh, it hurt your feelings. That's fucking right. It should hurt your fucking feelings. Because I'm sick and tired of people doing double standard shit. And all of a sudden now all of a sudden, the same propagandist talking this disgusting, nasty, racist shit about our people, now she wants to turn around and say, oh, I knew the whole time that these Jews don't like us. Really?
Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there.
Holy crap, guys. It's...
You see what I'm saying now? You see what I mean? I see. Oh, I see now. All of a sudden, it was only them. Pay attention, family. See, in this channel, that's why motherfuckers don't show up to this channel. Because I embarrass you guys. Now, it wasn't just white people. What are you saying? These are not white people? I mean, they're fucking Europeans. What are you talking about? Oh, it wasn't just white people that enslaved us. It was Jews. Really? I got thousands of fucking documents that show that black folks came with the Spaniards, who were basically Jews, as Negro conquistadors. What the hell are you saying? The last animal beast looking that I'm going to listen to is someone like this. And especially that dumbass on the bottom, like, oh, look, she made a point. You don't know shit. The fucking nerve. This is why in this channel, people don't come here and bother my shit, because guess what? The stuff that I say is facts. In 1492, it wasn't just so-called white people. It was also so-called Jews, and it was also so-called Negros that came with them and enslaved the indigenous people. You know, the ones that you said they were cannibals and they were smoking pot, right? Yeah, those right there. People that looked like you, too, enslaved them and raped them and murdered them and fed them to dogs, just like white people like this guy here, and just like the so-called Jews that you hate now, that you so comfortably worked for. You had no problem working for them. You took their paycheck. You went home with it. You slept with it. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here.
Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there.
Holy crap, guys, it's actually happening.
Holy crap, guys, it's actually happening. Okay, sounds good. For the sake of like proving a point, because you know what? That's one thing I don't like. This is just as like I brought this book out several times. Several times I brought this book out to you guys. And the time that I had actually brought it out, I was just showing you one particular page. And this is the gentleman that has been debunking all of these wobbles. Well, like, you know, they don't call themselves wobbles, but, you know, people of African descent claiming that they were natives. And he's like going around taking their DNA. He's like, no, you're not. You're mostly white. And in his book, he says that in every single outcome where the Spaniards showed up, Africans helped hold the pendant. We have a book here called Black Slave Owners, Free Black Slave Masters in South Carolina. We have here Global Indios. We have here Black Society in Spanish Florida. We have here also 7 Myths of the Spanish Conquest. And we also have here also the African Americans. And every single of these books that I just referenced, fam, talks about Negro slavers. African American, so-called West African American, I believe, maybe, had slaves. Now you're saying that it was only the Jews. You see, this is why I love the fact that now we're going to start really pointing out who had slaves. Because it wasn't necessarily just so-called white folks, or self-proclaimed Jews. It was Negroes like you. It was black people like you. It was West Africans like you, or West African Americans, or whatever you want to call yourselves. It's people that sat in front of a cross like the one you have behind you, and said, "Oh, we can do that in that name." Now all of a sudden you want to complain about the people that you work for. You brown-nosed in their asses the entire time, no pun intended. But the fact is that you fucking glorified them. You were with Prager. Prager, look up Prager, family. She worked for Prager University for fucking years. Now all of a sudden, hey, oh, I'm sorry, black people. I knew this the whole time. I just didn't want to tell you because I was getting paid. But it was Jews that actually enslaved us. What are you listening to? IUIC? That dumbass camp that's getting debunked every day and night? Come on, bro.
History of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there.
Holy crap, guys, it's actually happening. Candace Owens just made a video complaining about Ben Shapiro, and she absolutely drops a nuke on him and the Jews. Let's go ahead and jump in.
Oh, God. This is that book, Africa's Gift to America. Matter of fact, I didn't even name that one. So let's look at this real quick. On this side of the Atlantic was Zephaniah Kingsley between 1765 and 1843 of Florida with his East African Negro wife, Magmadegine J.I.E., whatever. Both made an immense fortune from smuggling slaves. Kingsley, who was related to the Whistler's mother, was not the only richest man in Florida, but one of the richest in America and a powerful political figure. His ships brought in many thousands of Negroes, bought at $25 each in Africa and sold in America and West Indies for $1,500. Once, when U.S. Coast Guards captured 350 contraband blacks on Kingsley's ships, the government, not knowing what to do with it, turned them back to him. Negro masters in the South weren't any kinder to their slaves than were the whites. What the hell? Candace Owens, like, can you explain this to me, Candace Owens? How is it that you're willing to get paid by them, but you're not willing to tell people the truth? that there was such a thing as Negro masters in the South. They weren't just Jews or white people. These Negro masters that you may be related to were not any kinder to slaves. Now, who the fuck were those slaves if they were black people as slavers? You see, this is where you have to go back into history. How come you didn't mention that Irish people were also, indentured servants? Or that the natives, that's right. Prager taught you, huh? Fuck out of here with this shit. Some had the reputation of being worse. Talk about buck breaking. We hear that's pretty common in jail. They fought with the Confederacy to hold them and were bitter at their loss. When William Lloyd Garrison facilitated a Negro slaveholder in Charleston, South Carolina, over the emancipation, he replied, What me happy at the freeing of me niggers? Oh my God, dog. Shit is fucking crazy. Fucking nerve of you people.
Into this is absolutely insane.
I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have...
That's true. Everybody I know says they have a visceral response whenever they see Ben Shapiro. I mean, people are absolutely disgusted by that guy.
Absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals.
Wait, isn't this what BHI teaches about white people? Black Hebrew Israelites, right? Whether you push the 12 tribe chart or not, you guys talk about these people the same way. That they're animals, that when they're vermin, and that when Jesus returns with an afro, that you're gonna enslave them like beasts. You guys call them Neanderthals. What are you talking about? You're no different than them. It seems like it's the same thing. They're hateful. They think they're above people. They have the supremacy of themselves. Are Christians any different? Don't you have Protestants that think that, hey, we were the chosen? We have a video of that long neck man looking woman, whatever the hell that thing is. And she says Protestants were chosen by God. We were the enlightened ones. Mate, it's the same shit, whether you look at it or not. The hypocrisy, I'm sitting around like watching all these people getting entertained. Oh, look at Candace Owens fighting back. Shut up, people. This bitch right here, I don't give a fuck anymore. This bitch right here, okay, also threw the damn diamond. She has a company or something under some platform that's called Bees. Do you understand what that is? That's Freemasonry, okay? Y'all hyping on some bullshit. Oh my God, she's some liberator. Get the hell out of here. She ain't no fucking liberator, bro. What are you talking about? She called indigenous people cannibals, pot smokers. Yeah, Ann Coulter. There you go. That's it. The man-looking thing. Yeah, there you go. That's her. Here, I'll show you. Hold on. I'm glad I forgot her name, dude. Like, fuck. She looks like a dude. I mean, what do you want me to tell you, bro? Parece vato, eh. Parece vato, eh. Hold on. Let's see. Ann Coulter? Is that how you spell it? Let me see. Hold on. I think I might not have it. Let me see. Is this it? Yep, I think this is it. Hold on. This is I want to look for the one where she's talking to the dumb Hindu. This one right here. So here, let me just kind of run it real quick. All right, watch this. So she's in here. This part, I think.
So, Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today. Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I too am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that. And it's directly related to what you were just talking about. You know, the thing about nationalism, you're totally right. It is like to use the word nationalism. Oh, it's Hitler, it's Hitler. And you know, Hitler had soup. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have soup. Hitler loved dogs. That doesn't mean you shouldn't love dogs. So I think we have to move past this. If Hitler did it, it must be bad. But I do notice when I was listening to your monologue, I don't think I do use the word nationalism.
If Hitler's a racist, it shouldn't be that bad because, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean everybody has to do it, basically. Like, this is not the actual point. Let me see if I can fast forward. There it goes, ethnicity. Check it out.
I would use a word you used in your monologue, which I liked quite a bit, and that's citizenship. There's citizenism. How about Americanism? Yeah. I'd also point out that the only people who are not allowed to be proud of their ethnic group do tend to be Anglo-Saxons. Oh boy, you can't be proud of being white. Whereas, you know, watch a soccer game and see, you know, it's Venezuela, we're Mexicans. They don't. It's funny. Hispanics don't even think of themselves as Hispanics. They think of themselves as the country they're.
Hey, dumbass dude. Man-looking thing. You know, Germans, they look like you. And they're proud Germans when they play soccer. What are you talking about? Shit.
They're from. I think French feel very proud to be French. We saw Macron expressly objecting wokeness on the grounds that this is an American institution. We're not going to import this. So you do see basically every other ethnic group very proud of their ethnic group. And the thing I'd say about America, okay, no single cuisine, but you can get Chinese food and Mexican food in Paris and Tokyo. Food has definitely migrated across countries. There is a core national identity that is the identity of the WASP. And that doesn't mean we can't take anyone else in, a Sri Lankan or a Japanese or an Indian. But the core around which the nation's values are formed is the WASP. We've never had a president who didn't have at least partial English ancestry. Never. We've only had one Catholic president. There was only one Catholic signatory to the Declaration of Independence. They were all not only Protestants, but pretty much Presbyterian. King George referred to the American Revolution as that Presbyterian War. So there is a lot in the freedom thing. Samuel Huntington of Harvard has written about this in a fantastic book I recommend to everyone, Who Are We? And he describes how, you know, back in colonial times, interestingly enough, for example, Jews could vote, but Catholics couldn't because people thought they would be more loyal to Rome. Once they became more American Catholic and less Roman Catholic, then they were just, you know, part of us and part of Americans. But you do notice, and he describes why so many countries
why Jews could vote and Catholics could not was because most Catholics were Spaniards. Most Catholics were Spaniards. They were brown-skinned people. So, in case you forget, man, in the 13 colony, you know, era, there was other people around here. So, instead of her saying race, she says religion. So, the undesirables were Catholics, basically. Okay, let's continue.
Have not done very well are dominated by Catholicism. It's much more from the top down. It lends itself to an authoritarian governance. Whereas, you know, Calvinist, it's between you and God. And moreover, because of the Presbyterian, I think every ethnic group has this, you know, the WASP work ethic and the Jewish work ethic. And I'm sure there is an Indian work ethic. But specifically with Presbyterians or Protestants, let me put it that way, and the Calvinism, even though it might not be theologically true, but the idea that you are part of the chosen and you prove that by being successful, it's almost the reverse in Catholic countries, not so much this country because American Catholics have basically become Protestants. And that is this worship of being poor, as if you are closer to God because you're poor. That's not the way to create a like on-the-go developing country.
Mm-hmm. So you see that? She just called themselves the chosen. And this dumbass over there losing his head, you know, he's smiling like a stupid ass because he's dumb. And yes, you're right. She is a Mason. So again, see, so this is my point, fam. It's no different. You know, the Christians have the Bible, they feel supremacists. Black BHIs, they have the Bible, they feel supremacists. self-proclaimed Jews have the Bible. They feel supremacists. Oh, you ain't different.
I do want to say this. It's important because I am angry. I will obviously, I pray to move on from this phase, but it's a fire in my belly right now. I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me, okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat, this is a promise. I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it, okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're gonna slide into his chair, okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
Look at that for a moment. Get out of here with your hypocrisy. 2 years ago, you were working for Ben Little Man Shapiro, blowing his butthole probably, for all I know. I don't know, that's alleged. Because you were happy to get paid. But as soon as they excluded you, now you bitter now. There's no hope in you. Like, oh, look, these Jews. It wasn't just white people that enslaved them. It was these so-proclaimed Jews are fucking white. What do you mean? They're from Europe. They're not. Let's put it this way. Why do you think these Israelis don't call themselves Arabs like everyone else around that region? They don't. Do you understand that they don't call themselves Arabs? Yet everybody else around them predominantly is considered Arab. So if they're of that region, why wouldn't they embrace that? Oh, that's right. Because they're fake like you proclaimers. All of a sudden now, oh, it wasn't Jews that suffered the slavery. It was you guys that suffered. Is this where it's leaning to? Oh, are we leaning to FBA bullshit again now? You can't, look, this is why I'm so fed up with this nonsense, family, because guess what, man? This replacement theory concept, it wasn't just a white talk.
That they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow...
She says in a way, hey, black people, these Jews were really the ones that enslaved us. It wasn't really white people. And then she's like, oh, hey, white people, I'm really pushing back because of Charlie Kirk, not because of me. Let me just share these videos first, and then we're going to read about it. Because, give me a moment. Let me see if I can, hey, can you stop that? Give me a second, family. Hold on. Give me a moment here. Let me move this. All right. So this is a particular comment, okay? Oh my God. Can you stop please opening up over here? Okay, check this out.
Start obstructing justice like the right claims. They're resisting white nationalism. The protests started because the federal government raided workplaces to target undocumented immigrants in LA, despite Trump promising to target actual criminals. But they aren't targeting violent criminals because it was never about that. And it'd be hard to do so since undocumented immigrants commit far less crimes than US citizens. But Stephen Miller, the man behind Trump's immigration policies, told ICE to increase the number of deportations to 3,000 people a day at all costs. That's why they're targeting workplaces and immigration courts. It was never about helping people come here the right way. Miller said in leaked leaked emails that he believes white people are being systematically replaced by immigrants, that immigrants are destroying America, and that's why he wants them gone. It's white nationalism, plain and simple. That's why the admin has changed the definition of criminal to include anyone here illegally, though it's just a civil violation. Stephen Miller posted in response to the protests, "We'll take America back." That's why they targeted LA. Texas has around the same amount of undocumented immigrants as California, but it's not a blue state that they've been railing against for years. It suggests the Trump admin wanted this to happen. They wanted pushback, they wanted conflict, and they wanted escalation. Also, Trump could assert his federal authority to take back America. But here's the thing, Trump is the direct cause of the unrest. Instead of having a humane and dignified approach to immigration like protesters are calling for, he's cracking down even more, provoking protesters, painting them as the problem, and trying to silence them. To him, those without power, the protesters and immigrants, are the problem. But the people in power are the real problem for treating human beings like they don't matter because of where they were born or the color of their skin. Oh, and Trump's escalations don't lead to more peace. Peace through strength doesn't work. It just leads to more unrest. Protesters aren't obstructing justice like the right claims. They're resisting white nationalism.
That's one example. Check this out.
Party that cries about this.
And yet, as we meet here tonight, there is a growing danger that threatens every blessing our ancestors fought so hard for, struggled, they bled to secure. Our nation is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, defame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children. Many of these people have no idea why they're doing this, but some know exactly what they are doing. One of their political weapons is cancel culture.
Would see Rage Against the Machine at the Republican National.
But that's not all, folks. Nah, this is where it gets interesting. See, this white replacement theory is not just a white replacement theory. It's a Negro replacement theory, too. This is why you got FBA and all them talking shit. That's why now that I hear Candace punk-ass Owens, oh, these Jews, they feel like they're... Okay. Bishop Wooden says migrants are replacing black people.
Right now, the black vote is the most important vote in the country. There's a very small window before our vote's not going to matter. These conferences won't matter. Right now, the black vote is the most important vote in the country. There's a very small window before our vote's not going to matter. These conferences won't matter, and us sitting here won't matter, because illegal immigration, if you're looking at the numbers, every new birth in this country, 60% of all new births are Hispanic Americans, and the Democrats are about, listen, you're saying, let me get to the point. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. They are, I say illegal is the new black because it's true, and there's a reason why they're advocating.
Illegal is new black? What are you fucking talking about? Like, you mean the word illegal is the new word nigger? Like, that's what you mean? Because that's what it means. It's a derogatory term. The word illegal is just a derogatory term that has a connotation to a specific person. Meaning when you think of that word, it reminds you of somebody or some people. Like, for example, some psychology, in case you're stupid, is what I'm saying. When I say, hey, do you know what a blue van looks like? You don't think of the color blue and the letter V-A-N. No, you think of a blue van, the shape of a van, right? That's a word that has a connotation to the van, right? So when you say illegal, they don't think of you. No, they don't think of you. They don't think of the white person. They don't think of Asians. They don't think of Arabs. They don't think of Hindu people. They don't even think of Samoans as illegals. When they say illegal, they say, it looks like me. That's what you're not saying. And that's what he's catching. He's like, shit, I know your game. You're a racist prick. Now you guys are preaching what, black replacement theory? Well, you were actually FBA, Wabos. You guys been doing that shit, racist shit, for a long time, and I'm the only one that's been calling you out. And for some fucking reason, you don't got the balls to come over here and step up to my fucking plate and debate me on my shit. No, you want to go attack so-called cholo channels or music channels about raza, and you want to go and attack them and blah blah blah. But no, you guys are scared of this shit here. Here, look, listen. I've done this so many times. I got about 700 fucking videos on this channel, and none of you guys ever have the balls to ever mention my name, and I know why. I understand why. It's not because of the way I talk or because of how I think. It's because of the facts that I bring. It's not emotional what I say. It's factual with passion, which is not emotional.
60% of all new births are Hispanic Americans, and the Democrats are about. You listen. You're saying, let me get to the point. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. They are. I say illegal is the new black because it's true, and there's a reason why they're advocating for open borders. Right now, our vote means a lot, but new births of black Americans have stagnated. The population growth within black America has stagnated. So the things that I pay attention to are the numbers. I pay attention to the birth rates in this country, which is why I'm pro putting something down to stop illegal immigration.
There are still some black people who have not awakened to the fact that we are being replaced. Black people are being replaced. And yes, Candace Owens was right when she said that about 5 years ago. Black people are being replaced by the illegal aliens, the illegal immigrants that are coming in from the southern border. And I just heard a report. Now they're coming in from the northern border. It is an invasion that's happening. But yet...
Hey, all be revealed. You know what's funny? You reminded me of that, and here I was looking for it, and it was the video that I was going to play. But as you can see, like, this rhetoric ain't too far. Look, listen. This is not a white. This is not a white concept. This is a black or Negro or West African American concept. You're no different than a white man. And then prove me wrong. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't understand it. How can you sit back and say, like, oh, no, bullshit stories, bro?
The northern border. It is an invasion that's happening. But yet, a lot of black people are still ignorant to that fact that there is a plan in place to replace black people. It's twofold. It's a two-pronged plan. The first plan.
Hey, so you're saying that us are going to replace black people, and white people are saying that we're going to replace them. Let me just remind you regarding the replacement, right? Records reflect. Oh my God, I could do this. Hey, I don't want to be funny. Let me just say this. Records reflect that technically you came here. There's no replacement. We never left. So Mother Earth on this continent is saying, fuck you bastards, get out of here. We don't need you here because you didn't bring nothing good. Let's continue.
Is to convince black people to sacrifice their future, to abort their future. That's why you have all of these politicians running around, speaking to black churches, going to black facilities, going to black colleges, talking about reproductive rights, talking about women's health issues, when knowing that the issue they're talking about has nothing to do with reproduction, has nothing to do with health. And secondly, they are encouraging these people to come in from all over the world in order to allow them to vote. These people can't vote yet, but eventually, just mark my words, they will pass bills that will allow these people to vote in federal elections.
So let me just say this. He's obviously pro-Republican. Did you not realize how many so-called people of Hispanic or Mexican, whatever, voted for trompetas? But that's not the point. Replacement theory is the point. Like, I'm sure that a lot of you guys never thought that you would ever hear somebody that looks like him saying this shit. Yo, that's true. That's right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Candace Owens.
Gotcha, bitch.
It's that's a fact, bro. Which is, oh my God. It goes back to the point of why I'm like, now you want to criticize Ben Shapiro, yet you worked for Prager University for so many years and said all your racist shit. Now all of a sudden, oh, well, these, shut up.
They will circumvent the laws somehow to allow these people to vote. But I'm glad to see there's one man of God that does recognize what is going on. That's Bishop Patrick Wooden. Let's hear what he.
Attention, this is a so-called West African American pastor saying this shit in his church.
He has to say.
I'm worried about the black future. See, there are things that's going on in the world today that lets me know that what is in jeopardy is not our history. Our problem is we've learned nothing from our storied and august history. We have come a long way.
That is so true. I made a previous video talking about how people want to use Black History Month as a Black grievance month. That's not how it was when I was growing up. Black history was a time to reflect upon our august history, as Bishop Wooden puts it, to reflect on the achievements made in the midst of real segregation, in the midst of real oppression, the achievements that were made by Black people, but yet that is being denigrated. And you want to know why? Because they don't want Black people to know their history, to know that the people are resilient, that despite all the obstacles that they faced, they had a confidence in God Almighty that they will overcome.
The story of the black race in this country is one of triumph and tragedy. Amen. When we were brought here, we weren't welcome. Statue of Liberty wasn't built for us. We were not welcome.
Again, hold on. Black slave owners, free black slave masters, butt breakers. You know, like Willie Lynch. The Willie Lynch letter wasn't always done by the white man. If that shit was real, which I already debunked, I destroyed that shit. That shit is fake as fuck. But anyways, I'll go with your story. If there was such a Willie Lynch, well, black slave owners, free black slave masters in South Carolina between 1790 and 1860. That's one book. The African Americans, Many Rivers to Cross by Henry Louis Gates. He also mentions they were conquistadors since the get-go and slavers too. That's another book. The Seven Myths of the Spanish Conquest. Matthew Bristol, and he mentions several black conquistadors. That's another book. Black Society in Spanish Florida is mentioning how there was black slavers, and not always, males, females. Yeah. Females owned a lot of slaves. Matter of fact, you can go up on page 94, Black Society in Spanish Florida, Black Slave Owners. A number of Florida's free blacks invested some of their income in slaves. Among them, Juan Bautista Collins. You see how they were the first ones to carry Spanish last names? So next time you have a so-called Wabo come to you and tell you you're a Spaniard, you should just laugh at them. Don't get offended. It just shows how stupid they are because they don't realize that they were the first Spaniards. African Spaniards with Spanish last names. Black slave homesteaders. Free blacks petitioned for land in new settlers. You see what happens after 1848? You see how certain people have lands that belong to the natives? I mean, I don't understand. In 1796, this is on page 97, black refugees from Santo Domingo arrived in Spanish Florida, and despite some initial concerns about their recent involvement in slave revolt, they quickly blended into the free black community and began to work the Spanish system. Global Indios. Matter of fact, no, not Global Indios. Hold on, this one. I haven't brought this book out in a long time. It's called Virginia, the Old Dominion, right? And on page, I believe 89, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Yeah, page 89, it says this. In the last of this month of August 9th of 1619, that marked the establishment of civil liberty and self-government, saw also the introduction of a new class of immigrant laborers, not slaves. Not slaves. Immigrant slavers. These were Negroes, not slaves, whose service, it now appears, were indentured like white people, as in the case of whites from England and Europe. Previously, it has been generally accepted that they were sold to the colonists as slaves. Bullshit. While the bringing of them has been ascribed to the Dutch, recent research, however, has cast a new light upon the transactions. According to the available records, these Negroes, West African Americans, may not with certainty be called slaves, for there is no proof of their persons were held as property or on terms any different from those white laborers whose services were engaged under public or private ownership from the varying lengths of times. On the contrary, the evidence clearly points to the customary indentured, for Virginia archives show that throughout the second quarter of the 17th century, meaning late 1860, 1880, 1890, Negroes were being released at the end of their periods of indenture. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just 6 books. And I got about maybe, I don't know, 15 more, maybe 10 out of thousands that I have. I'm sorry, not thousands, hundreds that I have, because that's what I do. I read. I mean, shit, man, I'm older. I take care of my kids, go to work, take care of my business, whatever, and I read. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go out, I don't hang out at bars, I don't go party, I don't go do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I do. That's how I entertain my mind. I guess you could say, and feed my spirit. So I don't understand how come we're not hearing these stories. Why is this being neglected? If you really suffered, then okay, so be it. But it doesn't seem like it.
No one expected us to last. We were brought here for free labor, to be slaves. We weren't even considered as human beings. But God blessed us, and God kept us. And look at where we are today. We're everywhere. I read a sign. I was traveling in a deep part of a state I won't name. I almost said it.
I'm not going to get into that. I just wanted to show you guys like the whole concept here. Don't forget the point.
Right now, the black vote is the most important vote in the country. There's a very small window before our vote's not going to matter. These conferences won't matter, and us sitting here won't matter, because illegal immigration, if you're looking at the numbers, every new birth in this country, 60% of all new births are Hispanic Americans, and the Democrats are about, listen, you're saying, let me...
60% of new birth are what again? Let me slow it down. Sorry, some people talk really slow for me. Not that I'm any... Anyways, let's just let me slow it down.
Let me get to the point. I'm very small window before our vote's not going to matter. These conferences won't matter, and us sitting here won't matter, because illegal immigration, if you're looking at the numbers, every new birth in this country, 60% of all new births are Hispanic Americans, and the Democrats are about, listen, you're saying, let me get to the point. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. I say illegal is the new black because it's true, and there's a reason why they're
No, she ain't pointing the finger to like Hindus or Asians or Arabs. She says Hispanics, meaning Mexicans. We're not in Africa, nor are we in Europe. You are where we've been.
advocating for open borders. Right now, our vote means a lot, but new births of black Americans have stagnated. The population growth within black America has stagnated. So the things that I pay attention to are the numbers. I pay attention to the birth rates in this country, which is why I'm pro putting something down to stop illegal immigration.
There are still some black people who have not.
Yeah, all right. So let me move on. Hey, by the way, I'm only doing 2 hours, fam, okay? I should have said that initially, but I guess I didn't. So just to show you real quick, this whole replacement theory concept, right? The great replacement theory, link it to the possessive investment in whiteness. So you so-called West African Americans you're feeding the whiteness concept. You know what I'm saying? Like the possessive investment in whiteness. So, like, for example, if I was like American Cholo, because he's not stupid, he knows where the money's at. The moment when you push republicanism, and let's say you're black or Hispanic, you can make a little money because people like to hear your hate. People like to hear you degrade yourself. See, white people will pay to hear you degrade yourself. Now you may not hear them tell you that. You may think because they're cheering for you that you're doing well, but no, they're entertained by your degrading yourself. The willingness to say white supremacy or white is right. White race is right. White race is right. The whiteness has a cash value, and white Americans are encouraged to invest in whiteness to remain true to an identity that provides them with a resource, power, and opportunity. However, this whiteness has no biological or anthropological foundation. But no. But this right here is beautiful marketing. Like I've said it before, if I really was about feria, I would have been doing that shit. I never thought about it, to be honest. But if I was like greedy, I guess I would have. I understand where, American Cholo talks about. Right? White is right. Right? It's crazy. Now let me show you this real quick, because these are the people, quite frankly, that are feeding this replacement theory. Okay? Now that you saw that bridge between Jews and Christians, with the right wingers, you see who really was pushing that propaganda.
Ever analyzed why the German nation that had more Nobel Prize winners and more famous researchers and scientists and was one of the best educated countries in Europe turn on the Jews? Why did these good Germans turn on the Jews, who had more Jews living amongst them than even percentage-wise living in the United States today? Why was that? Because they displayed the same voracious ethnocentrism, power-grabbing, influence peddling, buying of politicians, dominating of the public airwaves and the public media in Germany and so on, that they display in the United States. And I'm not much of a prophet, but that much I can say based on history. In the United States, mark my word, you will have Weimar conditions and you'll have solutions to the Weimar conditions. If you look at East Germany, how quickly it collapsed, or the former Soviet Union, how quickly it collapsed with all its secret services, spy agencies, NKVD and Stasis, it imploded so quickly, I have no idea. But there is no doubt in my mind, the United States is heading in the same direction. And there's only one difference. In the United States, there are enough guns out on the street and enough lawlessness in the public and a revolutionary spirit that founded that republic. The United States is armed to the teeth. They have a spirit of revolution in their blood. They are heroes.
Heroes. Yeah, right. Nah, man, y'all are docile, bro. These people have been massaging you so badly. It's just pathetic, bro. I don't know, man. I have this I'm indifferent about Cuban bees, bro. Like, I don't know, man. I think 90% of you Cubans are Europeans or Africans for the most part. Honestly, man. I think that very little of you Cubans are indigenous to this land. If I offended you, oh well. Unsubscribe. I don't care. Because a lot of you are hateful. I don't understand it. It's a really fucking bad thing. Like this, look at this piece of shit bastard. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Tuesday announced sanctions against judges of the International Criminal Court over an ongoing case against Israel. You see this? Today, the Trump administration is sanctioning 2 international criminal judges directly engaged in politicized and legitimate actions against Israel. He posted, the United States has been clear. We will continue to respond with significant and tangible consequences to protecting the ICC lawfare, abuse of power, and blatant disregard for the sovereignty of the U.S. of the U.S. and Israel sovereignty? What the fuck are you talking about? You're invading Venezuela, you piece of shit. Oh, this is so interesting. And you guys wonder why. Now, I'm going to go deep into some stuff right now, fam. And I need you guys to pay attention. Okay? Because the people that they hate the most, Raza, I'm going to say this to you right now. And I'm going to put a, hold on a second. Hold on. I like what this lady says. I'm gonna put a graph right here real quick. Check this out. These people here, okay? Raza, listen to me. Please listen to me. All right? I'm a grown-ass man that has a family. I love my kids. I love my wife. I love my family. I'm glad that I've changed so much. Thank the Most High for that type of privilege that He's given me. It's like, man, a lot of us don't get that chance. A lot of us grew up with, I don't want to say bad parents, man, because that's not fair for my father and my mother. Well, I mean, my father, and that's not fair for any father, because I think at least the ones that were trying, right? I know we tried. At least I could say that, right? But let me show this to you. These people hate you, bro. These are the people that have been propagandizing against our gente since they've been here. Real talk, Raza. These people hate you. Do you understand this? These people hate you. This is the people that are surrounded by that man. That dude right there to the right, he's the one doing all the immigration shit. The lady on the bottom, blonde, was the one that funded him to win. That's his daughter up there. That's Laura Loomer that says 65 million immigrants should be fed to fucking alligators. This is the other dude. His entire cabinet is surrounded by these people.
Well. So, I talked about this yesterday. I told y'all it was already happening here in the US of A, where they're trying to decide which white is right. You see, Alonia Muskrat is now calling for Italians who live in America to go back to Italy. You heard that correct. He's saying that Italians that live in America need to go back to Italy today. That's a whole lot of caucasity at play, considering the fact that you're from South Africa. So, I'm going to use one of y'all's own phrases here, you white hate fools. Why don't you take your ass back to Africa, Alonia? But yes, it has begun, not just on the applications. Now they're deciding who is and who is not the right kind of white. I'm going to drop a little history on you here, dear. Every single last ethnicity and race that has come into this country has suffered oppression and hate. Even those that are white. If you're Irish, when your ancestors came to this country, they probably came here as indentured servants, and they were treated like slaves. They were beaten and abused. They weren't even allowed to practice their religion, dear. Some were hung from trees and crosses, too. When the Italians came here, they had a funny little name for them. They called them WAPs, as in without papers. There's not, you can't find one, honey. You can't find one group of individuals that came to this country that has not suffered some type of oppression and hate. We are some of the most hateful people on the planet here. We're really into patriarchy, division, religion, and all of that here. So much so that we hate our neighbors and our own ancestors who came here. That's how full of hate we are around here. Well. So I talked about this.
Yeah, right on time, bro. I had to use the bathroom. Yeah. What's up? Oh, what's up? Good to have you here, brother. Hold on, let me say what's up. I was reading your stuff and I didn't even say what's up. Man, did I say what's up to anybody? Hold on a second. All be revealed. Let me say what's up. Chosen. Joe. Guaracuya. My bad. It's just that I just got. It's just because All Be Revealed was here for a while. You know, not here, but he showed up and I just got going. And then I kind of just forgot. My bad, bro. Hold on. Let me get to the brother here real quick. Here it goes right here. Would say this scripture was of us. It says Genesis 1:22, and God blessed them and saying, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters and the seas, and let them flow multiple on the." Not necessarily, but I don't want to say you're wrong. You're not wrong. I don't believe that's us. This is the lineage, and from that breaks into that right here. Genesis 9. And from Genesis 9, you go into Genesis 10. And from Genesis 10, you jump into Genesis 17. And from Genesis 17 is where you start following the line. So that's you know what I mean? But anyways, good to have you here, brother. Where you from? Tuning in from East LA, Boyles Heights. Oh, what's up, bro? So I grew up in the 90s. Like I was a teenager in the 90s, right? And we used to go up to LA to Pico Rivera, and I think Pico Rivera and Whittier, for like raves and shit. Because at that time, you know what I mean? Like, what else was there to do? You know, or house parties. But it was mostly raves we would go up there to. Go all the way from Oceanside. I grew up in Pozole Town. So, you know, I didn't gangbang. I knew everybody in the hood. Well, we didn't know everybody. I knew most of the people in the hood. When our little group was more about partying and, you know, females, you know what I'm saying? At that time, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was about. Like, partying and, you know, just... We used to call it macking and shit. I'm almost 50, you know what I'm saying? Macking. You would call it macking. Fucking crazy shit. I haven't heard that word in a while. But anyways, man, good to have you here, bro. I'm glad that you found us. Let me go ahead and continue. Let me see. Did I show that? Oh, that's right. Here's it. That's right. My bad, fam. I just, I had to use the bathroom and now I'm back on my senses again. All right, so I got this to show you guys. Because remember, keep in mind, these people, what I mean by how they feel towards you, I'm going to show you how they feel towards you. Okay? Because it's not a joke. Let me see where you're at. Where are you, bro? Oh, I spelled it different. Come on. What the hell? Is it this one? Hold on, fam. Let me see something. Here it goes, right here. Here it goes.
Diferenciándonos de la política del norte, y aquí viene el problema que quiero plantear, digamos, con exactitud. Ojalá. Y es que la política del norte cada vez más es el rechazo profundo del éxodo. Es una política racista, y por eso lo de Palestina tiene tanta importancia para alumbrarnos el inmediato futuro para nosotros. Que no van a matar solo los niños palestinos, sino que van a defender su modus de vida, como le quieran llamar, que es blanco, que es ario, que está basado en altos niveles de consumo, como todos ustedes saben, que hoy es un consumo que se construye sobre la muerte de los demás, porque es lo que provoca la crisis climática. Es decir, el consumo blanco ario del norte está acercándonos a la extinción de la humanidad a través de la crisis climática. No voy a explicar eso aquí. Otro tema, el cambio químico en la atmósfera. Y ese cambio químico en la atmósfera estimula el éxodo. Entonces, los problemas políticos y de inestabilidad de nuestros países, que ya arrojan una población que va hacia México, cada vez crecerán, pero por otro motivo que tiene que ver con la falta del agua, con la desertización, por el empobrecimiento, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Crisis climática que será respondida por el norte, como en Palestina, quebrando el derecho internacional. No los van a invitar, no les van a permitir la entrada, ametrallarán y usarán campos de concentración. Diferenciándonos de la política.
Testing. Okay, cool. I caught it in time. Damn it. Anyway, so this is Petro, president from Colombia, and he said this in 2023, I believe, of October, September. And I shared this video in 2023 because I've had this channel since the beginning of 2022, right? And he said, look, they're going to shoot you and they're going to do concentration camps. And are they not doing that? And he said, what they're doing in Palestine, they're going to be doing it here. That's what he said. And he didn't sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? That's why, and by the way, he also said that the excuse is because of the drug use. This is Noroña, which is a Mexican politician.
One of the major.
I don't know if he's primed to be the next president. Some people talk about it, but I don't think he's in that mindset yet. I think he's got other things in mind. But I want to make sure that we don't pass up on, what he talked about. Because he's like, yo, listen, let's be real. The problem is not the manufacturing. The problem is the consumption. Because that's really the case. Are you going to blame the alcohol? Like for example, how come when it comes to people that have addictions, right? They don't blame do they blame the person? What about alcoholics? You guys don't blame the alcohol. You blame the person. America is such an alcoholic 50 states put together. Like, you guys are all alcoholics. And you blame the people for the alcoholic state of mind. You don't blame the manufacturers because it's legal, even though it has like a massive addiction rate, way beyond 10%. And those are facts. That's what he talks about.
The problems with the drug trade is that the United States is the world's leading consumer of drugs. In other words, it has a reason somehow because it is the world's leading market for drug consumption, and that means that the profits are in the United States. World's drug consumption market, and that makes the profits being there in the United States, the capital, the American economy moves. The money from drug traffickers is embedded in the economy, in the cycle of capital reproduction. When I talk about the cycle of capital reproduction, you need to put money in while the capital is going through its entire cycle, because when said to have liquidity problems, you can have a lot of money in material goods in the company, in infrastructure, but you also need constant cash liquidity to continue feeding the cycle of capital and money. Drug trafficking is not only a money launderer, it is also part of the credit system. It largely fulfills the function of boosting the cycle, of providing liquidity to businesses and companies.
Do you understand what he means by it also provides the liquidity? Because the only way that this is so fucking beautiful that he said that, and I'm so thankful that I didn't. I'm actually watching this video with you for the first time. So what he's basically saying is that the only way that you can sell drugs, right, in the market, it's with paper. Like it doesn't. There's no other way to transfer it unless you put it back in a system, which is like what they call money anti-laundering, right? So there's like in money anti-laundering, there's like 3 layers of the way that money anti-laundering works. So you have what here. Let me show you something, just to kind of give you an idea. Money anti-laundering, right? Three stages. And don't ask me why I know this. I just know this. It says here. It says placement, right? So placement is like the initial stages where illicit funds are introduced into the financial system. So, for example, let's say I don't know, I flip a rock, right? And they gave me $10 for it. So then I take that dollar bill, and then I go in and start using it within its system. Now, in anti-money laundering, what they mean by that is that, let's say I take $100 bill and then I go and, I don't know, buy a insurance policy, right? For $100,000. Let's say I have an insurance policy with a face value of $100,000 and I give you cash money, right? And I say I have $100,000 and I want to buy a policy that's worth physical cash. And then I go out and borrow money against it right away. That's what they want to avoid, because that's placement. That's putting illicit money into the financial system, one way or the other, right? Layering is in stages, the origin of illicit funds disguised through complex transactions and confusion. So, for example, let's say I'm, flipping rocks, and I go and I have, let's say, I don't know, $50,000 of drug profit. I go and buy a bunch of money orders. So then, I go to different stores and buy money orders and shit. And through those money orders, then I start, putting them in my bank account. That's called layering. Here's the integration. Finally, the illicit funds are introduced into the economy, making them appear legitimate. Meaning, like, now, once it goes through the process, then I take it out and start spending it. That's why they mean by anti-money laundering. Right? So what he's saying is that the money needs to cycle. So the first cycle is the introduction. In order for this to function, they need that paper in people's hands, or nowadays digits. But it's what's funneling the country. That's why a lot of people say GOD is gold, oil, and drugs. That says America says in their dollar bill, in God we trust, and in a GOD we trust. In gold, oil, and drugs we trust.
So drug trafficking fulfills the functions that the financial system does. Well, this is a very complex phenomenon. And the United States government is deeply hypocritical because, as our fellow president, Claudio Montero, said today, they are not addressing the causes. They are
not addressing the causes because, again, keep in mind that the reason why I shared that with y'all regarding the layering of, illicit funds is they're not addressing the problem. Do you understand what that means? The drugs are coming in and they're transactioning for the drug. If I'm an addict like that and I want, I don't know, because I don't do that shit. You know what I mean? Let's say $1,000 worth of whatever illicit drug. Okay. So that means that person brings that physical drug and I give that person physical cash. You see where the flow of cash is needed? I need to give that cash in order for that cash to get back into the circulation. So it's like hypocritical because they're not attacking the people that are consuming it. Why? Because that's where the money's at. You can't have an imaginary system without the flow of its imaginary paper being transferred from hand to hand. It has to consistently transfer. It's like every second, you got billions of dollars being transferred from hand to hand, fam. That's the way this so-called money magic economy works.
Not addressing the problem of people trapped in drugs as a public health issue. In other words, they are saying that it is a weapon of mass destruction, but they are doing nothing to prevent it from reaching the hands of American girls, boys, young people, women, and men. They are doing nothing. In other words, they are doing nothing. They are not addressing the program as a public health program, nor are they dismantling it, because someone would say, why don't they solve that in Mexico? Why don't they solve that in the United States? I mean, I insist again, how do drugs reach the American people? They do not reach them through Amazon. There are criminal groups that distribute drugs in the United States, and the profits are invested in the American economy. Why don't they solve that part? In other words, why don't they start dismantling it? They are going to the Caribbean Sea to destroy boats because they do not stop those who are distributing fentanyl in their territory. They do nothing.
They do nothing because they want to justify the hate towards you. You see, they figure there's, I don't know, 75, maybe 65 million of them. Okay? And if 100,000 die, hey, so be it. Now I got some political push. I got a political reason to run. Now I can say it's these Mexicans that are killing our people. It's not the parenting. It's not the lifestyle. It's not the capitalistic mentality. It's not the survival of the fittest. It's not me fucking you in order for me to survive. No. It's none of that. It's not me partying, entertainment and a bunch of nonsense that kids are learning nowadays. No. It's none of that. No. It's the Mexicans that are giving you the drugs. Somehow, some way, a Mexican is forcing you to sniff, shoot, or inject, or butt plug up your butt. I don't know, bro. Y'all nasty ass people, bro. I've heard of some nasty shit. When I was doing my research on drugs, I didn't even want to bring it out because I'm like, I found out some of these people like stuff that shit up their butt just to fucking get high, bro.
Part remains unresolved. Now they are starting the other way around. Instead of having control of their territory. Notice what I am saying. Instead of having control of their territory, they are extra-territorial. And they are going to say, if we go outside, it will not arrive. They are playing dumb. It will continue arriving. It will continue arriving. Because it is the main market for drug consumption in the world.
Because it's the meat market for drug consumption in the world. Wow. So now let's remind ourselves why I say what I say. These people, they hate you, fam. They hate you.
Que es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, él apoyó a Trump y es íntimo de Netanyahu. Entonces, cuando llegó Netanyahu a Dallas, Texas, que había un grupo de judíos o israelíes, no sé cómo se diga ya eso, le decían, oye, ¿por qué persigues tanto a los palestinos? Y les dice, los palestinos son para nosotros los israelíes lo que los mexicanos son para ustedes en Estados Unidos. Entonces, yo veo la palestinización de los mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
Con todos los componentes.
¿Cómo?
Con todos los componentes, porque primero Estados Unidos le roba el territorio a México, después le termina de construir un muro, después los ataques xenófobos y racistas por un componente étnico y religioso también. ¿Qué falta?
Bueno, falta el último capítulo. Vamos a empezar a ver, hay que tenerlo en el escenario, una gran discriminación sobre los mexicanos. Eso a mí me queda muy claro. Y Estados Unidos, porque aquí la pureza blanca del WASP, del racismo, supremacismo, es igual que la pureza inventada de los nuevos judíos del siglo XXI, que ni son semitas. Lo digo con responsabilidad. Hoy uno llega a Tel Aviv y el 25% habla ruso. Son de origen házaro. Los házaros, lo digo también con definiciones puntuales, son mongoles centroasiáticos. No son semitas. En Estados Unidos, que es un criminal
So now you get a better picture of that stuff, fam. It's not our fault, bro. Consumption is real and it's affecting people, but hey, listen, what you should do is focus on you. Because the problem is you. The things that you raise, the children you create, the cruelty within your own mindset. Anyways, I said 2 hours, fam, and that's it, 2 hours. So I'm going to try to trim it out from now on to 2 hours because, you know what I mean? I don't want to go long-winded. Plus, it's Monday. And I'll probably run a class on Wednesday, too. So hopefully things work out for me throughout the week. Because sometimes some stuff happens and I just cannot do it, okay? Matter of fact, as soon as I started running the class, my son, who had a hard time this week, kept coming in like 3 times. He kept coming in. You know, so sometimes I just can't. Even though I say, okay, I'm going to run the class at this moment, and then all of a sudden some stuff happens and I can't run the class. And that's okay. Anyways, so you guys have a good night. I'm going to play this song and then that's it. And I want you to pay attention to this song. Pay attention to this song, please. Okay? Because I think it matters to us.
Del mar los vieron llegar, mis hermanos emplumados serán los hombres barbados de la profecía esperada. Se oyó la voz del monarca de que el Dios había llegado y les abrimos la puerta. Por temor a lo ignorado, iban montados en bestias, como demonios del mal, iban con fuego en las manos y cubiertos de metal. Solo el valor de unos cuantos les opuso resistencia y al mirar correr la sangre se llenaron de vergüenza, porque los dioses ni comen ni gozan con lo robado, y cuando nos dimos cuenta ya todo estaba acabado. Y en ese error entregamos la grandeza del pasado, y en ese error nos quedamos 300 años esclavos. Se nos quedó el maleficio de brindar al extranjero nuestra fe, nuestra cultura, nuestro pan, nuestro dinero, y le seguimos cambiando oro por cuentas de vidrio y damos nuestras riquezas por sus espejos con brillo. Siglo XX nos siguen llegando rubios y les abrimos la casa y los llamamos amigos, pero si llega cansado un indio de andar la sierra, lo humillamos y lo vemos como extraño por su tierra. Que te muestras humilde ante el extranjero, pero te vuelves soberbio con tus maldición de Malinche, enfermedad del presente, ¿cuándo dejarás mi tierra? ¿Cuándo harás libre a mi gente?
Mi país por todos lados, la tripa, el corazón y sus costados. Se vende mi país a cuatro vientos, su sangre, su sabor, sus alimentos. Se vende mi país cada momento, su hambre, su dolor, su sentimiento. Se vende mi país con todo y gente. Se vende la palabra independiente. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Se vende mi país y da coraje. Se vende mi país, es un ultraje. Se vende mi país y sus petróleos y los santos obispos con sus óleos. Se vende mi país por todas partes. Se vende antropología y bellas artes. Se vende en su historia y su destino. Se vende desde el principio su camino. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. La patria se volvió nones y pares. Se vende hasta el fondo de los mares. Se venden sus montañas y sus ríos. Se venden sus calores y sus fríos. Se venden sus oasis y sus flores. Se vende el amor de mis amores. Se venden las arenas del desierto. Se vende todo lo vivo con lo muerto. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Se venden todos los odios y cariños. Se venden los ancianos y los niños. Se venden sus males y placeres. Se venden los hombres y mujeres. Se venden su cercanía y su distancia. Se vende el horizonte de la infancia. Se venden los sueños de su cielo y el último suspiro del abuelo. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Se vende mi país, está en oferta. Se vende su razón, alta y despierta. Se vende su lugar en este mundo. Se vende lo más querido y más profundo. Se vende lo que espera la esperanza. esperanza y el ansia del amor que nunca alcanza. Se vende mi país, se vende en frío, lo único que tenía que era mío. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Se vende el buen ejemplo de aquel padre, se vende a la mamá, que poca madre. Se vende mi país como un relingo, se vende al extranjero y a lo gringo. Se venden su memoria y sus recuerdos, lo avientan a las hienas y a los cerdos. Se vende mi país puro y entero por un triste puñado de dinero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero. Yo no lo vendo, no, porque lo quiero. Yo no lo vendo, no, mejor me muero.
That's two pistolas, 3 parts pure, 1 part baking soda. Take it out the microwave before it bubble over. Coolers on a quota, look over your shoulders. I push weight box, please, I don't sling boulders. I make moves, the kind that move mountains. My voice echo thunder, the streets stay pounded. It's Guaquera, Tijuana, La Frontera, 17.5, and I pull it out my sweater. I'm DOC, duck a cover, yeah, homes. Nobody does it better, I'm a mean go-getter. Glands of adrenaline, quick on my toes like I'm laced with a betterment. Seasoned rap veteran, I ain't gotta floss. Every move that I make, let you know that I'm a boss. Asesino. Dice, mi barrio pesa, se llama Nesa. Puro pinche loco con tatuaje en la cabeza. No te metas en lo que no te interesa, porque el coyote está hambriento y está buscando presas. Sácate de esa maleza de la naturaleza. Vamos a hacer que la casa se ponga espesa. Si llego al estudio pego como Julio César. Aquí tus figuras tiemblan, alta destreza. Tengo gente que está metida en la empresa, que en la cara tienen a la muerte impresa. Están buscando poner el pan en la mesa, rifándose en la limpieza o sacando la fresa. La mamá que reza porque el hijo no regresa. Ponte trucha porque te devoran si bostezas. Aquí andamos representando con fuerza para todos mis paisanos del West Side. Esta es mi ciudad, donde está mi pueblo. Apenas si me voy, quiero estar de nuevo. Que me digan dormido, si lejos me muero. Que me traigan aquí, me entierren en tu suelo. Te vas a quemar, vivimos en el fuego. No vas a aguantar las reglas del juego. Si soy lo que soy es porque te tengo. Si estoy donde estoy es por donde vengo. Cuando prenden el micrófono ya no me detengo. Saben lo que pretendo y el nivel que mantengo. Con el loop de scoop escupiendo un incendio, hasta que Los Ángeles se vuelve el infierno. Andamos bien puestos, echándole el resto a todo volumen con los vecinos molestos. Ritmos crudos, ritmos frescos para todos mis paisanos del West Coast.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.